up, y'all?
Josh is sick.
Yep, still. Hey, so, yeah, we really talked about the Super Bowl, dude.
No.
What do you think?
What about it?
Kansas City, San Francisco?
No, you heretic.
What do you mean?
You can't even mention Kansas City as someone that anyone would cheer for.
Hey, I'm
That's
asking you, they got a lot of
horrible. Nah.
fans?
Bandwagons. They ain't fans.
Yeah, that's true.
There's no true fans like Charger fans.
Yeah!
I heard
Lifers.
someone on the radio saying that they should just get rid of the Chargers because they have no fans. I think we're the only ones with real fans.
We should go and kick his butt.
Or the Cardinals, probably.
Yeah?
Just the teams that have sucked perpetually.
Yeah, there's a
For a
certain
good
individual
10
that you call your
years.
friend that cries when they lose.
Josh?
No, not Josh. Josh ain't that bad. Tall and
Strange.
skinny.
Anyways.
Yeah, he cries. Yeah.
So what's new?
Toby Keith, man, passed away this morning.
Yeah, no,
I believe.
sad.
I believe it was this morning. I don't. It could have been last night.
Yeah.
I haven't really read the article, but you know, me and your mom were pretty big Toby Keith fans.
Yeah. it was
Back in the
sad.
day when you actually bought CDs,
Mhm.
we bought his CDs.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, because we both like country a lot.
I still buy CDs.
Now you just go to Spotify and listen to everything. You don't need to buy CDs.
But if you buy the CDs, you actually own the music.
Wow. I mean, if I want to listen to it.
Spotify can just not have a contract with that singer anymore, and you can't hear him.
I guess.
Then you have to get Apple Music or YouTube, and then you have to pay twice as much.
Apple Music is twice as much?
No, but if you're paying for two,
You don't have to pay for YouTube.
hey, dude, YouTube Music.
I just pulled up like 5 videos.
Well, I mean, yeah, you pay to get it ad free, just like you don't have to pay for Spotify either. It just kind of sucks if you don't.
Okay, whatever, dude.
Yeah.
Anyway, dude.
Is it true that like the streaming platforms like Netflix and all of them are like at $20 now?
I have no idea. We don't have any.
You do. You don't pay for them?
No. Well, like, okay. So we've got that Disney thing and ESPN Plus, but we get that through Verizon, through our, I don't know, through our phone contract or whatever you call it.
Okay, well,
And then Amazon Prime is through Amazon Prime.
see, there's some
so-
people who are starting to say to buy DVDs because you never know what platform has your movies.
That's
and
true.
so then just buy your favorite ones and then you can just do it. I totally agree with that because I'm old-fashioned in my media. But, you know, I think it's really dumb. You know, I hate to involve government in anything. But maybe not the government. Someone, somewhere, something needs to fix this. Because now, like, you hear people talking about how they don't pay cable because they got their streaming. But then they pay for all of them. That way they know they can watch their movie or whatever. And it's
Right.
like just as much as cable.
Yeah.
I'm not saying it's dumb if you do that. I'm saying
No,
it's dumb
I am.
that the no,
It's
no,
dumb.
No. Nah.
You're doing that to save money, and you end up paying the same or more.
Well, not necessarily. Okay, but that's not the point. The point I'm making is it's dumb
That
the
you're dumb. That's the point he's
companies-
making.
No, that the companies, like, they make whatever's on their thing exclusive. And I get that's how they make money, but it kind of doesn't work. It works for them, but also not really. Because when things get tight, people cut back the subscriptions, which we've already seen a little bit, like Disney losing money. But that's also because they're crazy. And, you know, I don't know. I just think the system kind of sucks. Before you had Netflix, and everyone watched Netflix. Then there was Amazon, and it was good. You need the competition. But now there's Netflix, Amazon, Hulu, Paramount, Peacock. There's another one.
Well, then, like all the
It's
apps for
like,
like all
why?
the movie channels. Like before, you'd get cable, and then you'd add on like HBO and
Yeah.
Cinemax and stuff. Now
Yeah.
they got their own app, so
And you
can
still have to
get-
pay them.
Yeah.
And
But what
not
I'm
saying
saying
any
is,
of this
like,
should be free or cheaper,
yeah.
but like the system doesn't seem like the smartest system.
No, that's why we cut cable. I don't know, about 10 years ago.
Uh,
Long time
Sure.
ago. It could be longer.
Yeah.
Could be a little less. Um, but
Nah.
and so
We never had cable in our last house.
yeah, it's been a long
So it's
time.
been like 12 years.
So all we had was basically it's pretty much been Amazon Prime for the most part. We've had little bouts here and there where we get like Fubo TV for like a month, like when the World Cup. So we got that. We paid for it for a couple months. But we're looking for free trials, like to watch the Super Bowl on Sunday. We're gonna get a free trial.
Making new emails.
Yeah, like food, because we don't really need it. We're not gonna watch it. We
But
don't have time to watch it.
I've wanted to buy something so I can watch all the sports games, but I don't even know what that would be. I would think YouTube TV, but no.
Fubo.
If NBC is broadcasting this, then it's their exclusive, and it's going to be on Peacock.
No,
and
dude,
then-
that's
and Thursday Night Football, that's only on Amazon, and it's like why?
Fubo is the
what?
sports one. That one
Yeah.
you get all the soccer from all the leagues.
Do you get football?
Yep, you get football. Not all the
Okay.
games, because for that you have to have the ticket. But you get
yeah,
like
yeah,
the
yeah.
local games that
I'd
are
be
being
willing to pay for
televised.
that, maybe. But that's my thing is.
It's got
What was wrong with the system where TV was like radio? Like they just sent out the broadcast signal and it was your job to pick it up with an antenna. And
right. Well, you know what I've
Then
been
they
thinking
decided
about.
to go digital, and I think that ruined it.
I was telling Jefe that I'm really considering getting one of those big antennas and putting it on the roof of the house, like we used to have back in the day.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he just started laughing. But hey,
You
know,
mean
it's-
those
it's
ones
free.
that like went up and had the two long ones going
Yeah.
across and the little ones going
Uh-huh.
sideways?
Yeah, they're big ones.
Yeah.
But we used to get a bunch of channels.
Yeah.
And like, say you wanted to watch this channel, and then another channel, you had to go up and move it to a different direction
Interesting.
to get the channel. Like Univision and Telemundo were like, well, in California anyway, they were like opposite directions.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So if you wanted to watch something on Univision, like a novela or something, you had to point it one way, and if you wanted to watch like a soccer game on Telemundo, you had to go up on the roof and move it the other way.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was cool because we get a bunch of channels from Mexico, so we could actually watch like the Mexican wrestling and stuff. Oh, I love it.
Yeah.
I've always been a big wrestling fan.
Okay. I'm gonna change the topic
Go for it.
to politics.
Okay.
Okay. Two things. Number one, I was reading this article from a year ago today from a guy who's now dead, Timothy Keller. You heard of him?
No.
His book covers look familiar. I don't know. But he was mentioning that the church needs to learn to talk to this new young generation that doesn't believe in the basic morals that the church believes. Because over American history so far, like, everyone kind of believed the same right and wrong. It doesn't mean they did it, but, like, if you were going to go back to church, you knew what they were going to tell you. And, you know, you had a basic morality, whether you followed it or not. And you knew if you're going back to church, they're going to tell you that. And if you were going back to church, you knew that you were trying to make a change, per se. But you're saying the problem is now that we don't know how to communicate with them, because we were talking about this at home the other day, that, like, they're now hardwired with a different morality system. And so it's not as easy to communicate with them off of things we agree on. So I think he made a good point that when Paul went to Athens, totally different value system than the Jews have in Israel, and he commended, like, the religiosity and the things they were doing right. And then he pointed out the things they were doing wrong. And then he filled in the gap with Jesus and how he made more sense.
Mm-hmm.
I think that was good. And then something else he said that was interesting was you have some of the church moving to the left, and they're obviously ineffective because they're going against the word of God. But also, they're just the same as the world. They're not any different. They offer nothing else that the world doesn't. So why would anyone want that? It's the same thing.
Right, but
And then you have part of the church moving to the right. And I'm just gonna say this. Not that I agree with it, but like, what do you think? I want to hear your thoughts. So, he was saying that the church, instead of trying to learn how to communicate with these younger people, has instead decided to just really evangelize the conservatives who do agree with them on basic morality. And then that is kind of a dwindling number of people because even a lot of conservatives aren't necessarily religious nowadays and don't really necessarily believe in that religious freedom as much as they used to. And so he was saying if the church is going to be healthy and grow, we need to get the young people and these people on the other side of the aisle. He said, and I think it's a good point. As much as I think it's important, and we need to defend our rights through voting and however else we, go against the government as a people, like for our rights. He was saying that at some point these Christians on the ones that drifted right, not the ones that drifted left, who aren't really Christian anymore at this point, but how they kind of decided that they were going to try to take over the government through like really conservative politicians and stuff and like fix America by purging out the immorality through the law. And that's not going to work, he says, because we don't have enough people who are willing to vote with us on what everyone thinks are the crazy things we believe. And not only that, but that we have more of an impact just by simply loving our neighbor, because that's what shows the difference to the people who offer something that the world doesn't. What do you think about that?
well, yeah, he's got some good points that I agree with, and others that not so much.
Mm-hmm.
But like, yeah, it's very important, and I'm very bad with this because like, I don't talk to a lot of people, so like, I don't talk to my neighbors, and that's probably a bad thing.
Mm-hmm.
So I personally so that right there, that hits me. It's like, yeah, I gotta be better with my neighbors because yeah, absolutely. Having a good relationship with your neighbors and your neighbors knowing they can count on you, just goes a long way. And then they see your life and they see that, you're not drinking and, that like you're going out with your wife, that you're together with the kids, everything. And eventually they will come and ask you, you won't have to go over there and try to convert them or what. No, they will see your actions, how you behave, how you treat them. And they will come and ask you, hey, you seem a little bit different. Why?
Mm-hmm.
And then you can talk to them. As far as the kids, I don't know that we're trying to indoctrinate them to like what or teach them. Because I mean, that right there, it's hard because I work with the youth and like high school and junior high age, and it's hard because the way that they have been indoctrinated already by society, by school, is unreal. It's like you said, it's like their moral value is like non-existent. Like they'll go and they'll steal something, like not even caring if people see them or not. Why? Because they know there's no consequences now. And it's like, but why are you doing? That's not right. Why are you doing that? Sleeping around nowadays is huge. And why? Because
it's always been huge.
no, but now
it's more frowned upon.
No, it's. I think it's a lot more now than ever. Yeah, because you can go back to like the hippie years, and then like also in the '90s there was another little revolution, sexual revolution or whatever. So yeah, I guess you're right in that aspect, but now it's like you used to try to hide it before.
Mm-hmm.
Now you don't care. Now you're a 14-year-old and you don't care if your mom and dad know. And a lot of times they do know and they don't do nothing about it.
Mm-hmm.
What do? They say, oh, bring your girlfriend over to the house. Oh, bring your boyfriend over to the house. Well, at least we know what they're doing and we know that they're in a safe place. Please, give me a break. Be a mom, be a dad. Don't allow them to do that. That's wrong. But why do they do that? is the question. The parents.
With the parents? Yeah, I don't know. Because here in Arizona, we have that whole situation with the Gilbert Goons. And there's rumored to be 30 to 40 of them. Not necessarily 30 to 40 that they're looking for that committed crimes, although if they're involved at all, they should be looking for them. But 30 to 40 involved in the gang, and that means that there's 60 to 80 parents, right? And they're all okay with it. I don't understand how that works. Like, what are the odds that all of them
Right.
are okay with it?
Exactly.
Like,
And it's just,
what? I
Yeah,
mean, you would
and
think
it's-
odds are one of them would be like maybe not so much to beating up kids, but I guess.
right. And another one of the rumors is, and we have to say rumors, even there's evidence on this, but nobody's been convicted, so everything's a rumor until somebody's convicted. But the dad of one of these guys was like the head guy, like with drugs and stuff.
Yeah.
And getting the kids the weapons, and I'm like, who in their right mind is gonna give or sell drugs to kids and then give them guns?
What do you mean?
Yeah.
Didn't that happen to you?
No. I never had a gun until I
No.
bought one recently.
No, yeah, but
But as far as like, getting drugs to sell, yeah. But it's because back in the
don't
day,
those have to come from adults?
huh?
Don't those have to originate with adults? at some point?
Yeah, for the most part. But no, what I'm saying is like, I'm not talking about him using them as mules or,
Mhm.
to sell the drugs necessarily, but he'd give them drugs so that
Yeah.
they'd get high. And you got a kid who's not even mature, doesn't know what the heck is going on yet in life,
Mhm.
high on drugs, and then you give them an AR. I mean,
Brass knuckles.
yeah, this dumb stuff's gonna happen.
Yeah, but it's interesting.
But,
and there's got to be some corruption in Gilbert too.
There's
I mean,
a
you
lot.
see the mayor's not running again. The chief of police is always really quiet and doesn't say much.
Yeah,
He
he's
comes
no
out and
good.
says the most vague things. that
I
mean
thank
nothing.
God we got, we're part of the county, and
With
so
Mark
we've
Lamb,
got sheriffs. We got Sheriff Mark Lamb, who's
But you know what's
amazing.
interesting too is all the surrounding cities are doing good. They're catching them. They're starting to arrest them now because all the pressure.
right.
But
And who started?
But look at Mark Lamb.
Mark Lamb.
But no. But Queen Creek, where the murder happened, they're barely doing anything. They're the ones that called the FBI, and they're like, "We're inexperienced, we don't know," and they're trying to play it off as something totally normal. But I feel like there's corruption there too.
There is, absolutely.
And for Gilbert,
You know how I
everyone-
feel about the FBI. Anything they're involved in is corruption.
No. I disagree with that. That's a communist thing.
I say that
No.
100%.
Well, you're communist because
Well, then I'm a communist.
because that's exactly what the USSR wanted. They wanted to discredit the FBI so they could get rid of them. Because the FBI
Oh no,
still
I
does
believe,
so
I
much
believe,
to protect us. If we just got rid of them,
Hey, and you watch this, dude.
that'd be over.
Trump's gonna go into office.
Hmm.
FBI's gone,
That I
It
would
will be
disagree with
dissolved.
that. But
but it will be because
if it is,
they're so
then sure,
corrupt.
but no,
they're
no.
so corrupt.
That's the thing.
man.
You don't know why you don't agree with this, but they're just like border patrol. The hierarchy is corrupt. The personnel at the lowest levels are just normal people. Just like in the military or any other branch of the government.
No, dude, you can't even compare the Border Patrol or ISIS to FBI,
ISIS?
dude. No, ICE. ICE. I
ISIS.
meant to say
Yeah.
ICE.
But yeah, it's interesting how Gilbert and people in Gilbert now feel so unsafe. And yet, their stats are still going to be the safest city on earth because the murder happened in Queen Creek.
Right.
So, it's interesting.
Yep.
But also a lot of how it's like feelings. Americans have said for the past 20 years or 17 years or something that they feel like they're less safe than they were the year before. And in most of those years, the crime has dropped.
Yeah.
So it's interesting. But
Yeah, but you know why crime is dropping, supposedly, because it's not.
dropping,
Well, that's what I'm saying, because it's not.
but it is
But-
lower than it was in the early 90s.
No, because here's the thing.
Yes, it is.
No.
Look at the stat.
That's where I'm going. That's where I'm going. Okay. So Arizona has, in the entire country, it's got 3 of the safest cities in the entire country. Gilbert being one of them.
Scottsdale.
No, Coolidge is one of them, and then Buckeye. I think Buckeye might have been number 1 overall. But you do research, and you come to find that a lot of this stuff goes unreported, unrecorded. And there was, like, for Buckeye, there was a, what do you call those people that come out and snitch?
Snitches.
No. Yeah, well, I mean, yeah, we know there's snitch, but there's some name.
Whistleblower.
The whistleblower. There we go. There's a whistleblower that came out that worked there. That's like, hey, wait a minute, we're not the safest city, and they pointed out a bunch of crimes and a lot of stuff that happened.
But that's my thing. You can look at the research and come up with facts, and it's still not as bad as it was in the late 80s, early 90s.
90s were pretty bad, dude.
I know.
I'll give it. Yeah,
That's what I'm
90s
saying.
were pretty bad. That's when I was, dumb
that
stuff.
seems also when crime was the most glorified in pop culture. I
Yes,
think.
absolutely.
Now it's a lot of immorality, but not so much.
And that's what I was
Not
telling you.
as
It
much
was,
crime as back then.
it was
in my
like
opinion.
growing up, like the way that I grew up. It was 2 things. It was how bad can you be? You see what I'm saying? And then how many girls can you sleep around with?
Yeah,
That was it. That was the goal.
yeah.
And you were glorified for that stuff. And it's like, now looking back is, it's shameful and it's sad, but yeah, that's what it was. You wanted to be cool, you had to sleep around, and you had to get in fights, and you had to, do drugs or sell drugs or do something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyways, John 6,
Let's do
verse 41. The Jews then complained about him because he said, I am the bread which came down from heaven. And they said, is not this Jesus, the son of Joseph, whose father and mother we know? How is it then that he says, I have come down from heaven? Jesus therefore answered and said to them, do not murmur among yourselves. No one can come to me unless the Father who sent me draws him, and I will raise him up at the last day. It is written in the prophets, and they shall all be taught by God. Therefore, everyone who has heard and learned from the Father comes to me. Not that anyone has seen the Father except he who is from God, and he has seen the Father. I'm going to stop there. I wanted to keep reading to see if he made a definitive point, but there's just a lot. So what do you think?
Well, it's like, I mean, I don't know. I have a hard time understanding this. Like, but then again, we'd probably do the same thing here today because, I wonder why, like, okay, you guys know the Bible left and right, talking about the Pharisees, or whatever scriptures they had at that time. Yeah, and those scriptures point at Jesus, yet they didn't know Jesus. No, but they didn't know. They didn't know. But they were so stuck in their religion or
Some of them
religiosity.
The ones that got him killed knew, and they were just jealous.
Mm-hmm.
And then there was some that believed, and then there's some that I'm sure just didn't know. And
Okay.
it's just
Okay. Yeah, like this right here is like.
And then you have the Sadducees, who didn't believe in resurrection, life after death, or any angels or anything spiritual.
Yeah.
Which makes me wonder what they believed in, because God's a spirit.
Exactly.
But Gary Hamrick from Virginia, Calvary. Oh, what is it? Or Cornerstone Chapel. It's a Calvary. He says that he goes on this joke where he's saying that they don't believe in life after death, and so they have no hope, and that's just sad. You see.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got it. Yeah, but what about? Could they be like modern or like the Jehovah Witness of those times?
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
There's a word for the people that believe that and know spiritual beings. It's
Yeah.
it's
But no, it's and they're like, well, wait a minute, and I could see like these people, being a little confused. Like, wait a minute, he's saying that he's the bread that came down from heaven, saying that he's God, and we all know his mom and dad.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? And so I believe sometimes that the people that were actually going through this, with the stuff that we're reading, yeah, I actually give them the benefit of the doubt because it's got to be hard. For us, we've got the whole story.
Yeah.
We can read it over. For them, they're going through it and they're wondering, like, okay, what's going on here? That's your mom and that's your dad, and you're saying you came from heaven.
Yeah.
What?
Because these aren't concepts that were ever really explored before. And that's why even Jesus himself didn't blame his own disciples. He just knew they weren't going to get it and basically just said stuff so that later they would get it because he knew it was all going over their heads.
Right.
Right? I mean, they were bickering over who was going to be greatest and sit on the right hand of the earthly kingdom when they took over Rome the night he was getting crucified. And so they just had no idea.
Yes, sir.
But what about being them?
Oh,
Like just realizing after it's like, oh, yeah, that makes sense.
It's hard because like for me, when it comes to religion, I think I'm kind of laid back, but then I get pretty pumped up too. Like when I start like debating with somebody,
Yeah.
and then they think that I'm mad, and because
But
I'm an
that's
emotional,
just your nature.
Exactly. I'm an
yeah.
emotional dude, so I just automatically my voice just like rises, and I'm not mad. Like you always used to think I was mad. I'm like, dude, I'm not
No,
mad.
well, you would be mad.
No, I wouldn't.
No, you would.
Now you wouldn't even ask your mom, my dad, mad. She'd be like, no.
Yeah, but sometimes she gave rigged and biased answers.
No, dude, no. That's just the way I am sometimes. My voice just goes up, and then it comes down. It goes up.
What do you think about verse? I'm lost. Verse.
We stopped at
46.
Uh-huh.
Not that anyone has seen the Father, except he who is from God. He has seen the Father.
Mm-hmm.
How do you explain the Christophanies in the Old Testament? Is that them seeing the Son?
The Christophany.
I think Enoch saw God, and that's why he.
Well, he
left.
walked with him, and that's why he took him.
That's why he took him.
With Moses, it says that
Moses didn't.
he
see
saw
the
his
face of
shape,
God.
right, and he
Yeah.
saw his back, but he didn't actually see
But
him.
he saw God.
Well, he saw the body, the shape, yeah,
Yeah. Like if I see you walking by and don't see your face, like I still saw you.
right. Like it's like
So do you think even then, in all of his glory, it was just Jesus the Son, or that's how he was
no.
presenting himself?
I think it was God because look, and
And
this,
also,
this is
what
why I
about
say that,
Jacob and Abraham,
right?
when God was literally in man form.
I think that right there was Jesus.
Yeah.
I'll be honest, because he came in man form.
Dude.
We've never anyways, I've never seen anywhere in the Bible where God actually came in man form. So I say Jesus. Well, Jesus is God.
Jesus is God.
No, I know, but what I'm talking about is the Father.
Yeah.
The Father. But you got to remember, Moses didn't really see God. He saw the shape. He saw his back and stuff, but like he never saw his face. Yet, just by being able to see that, let's just say his shadow or his form, his face, Moses was like transformed to where like he had to cover himself.
But even God himself would speak to him face to face.
Right.
I think he clouded his glory of his face, but I wouldn't be surprised if Moses could see the rest of him.
Right. Yeah. So it says,
So-
if I'm not mistaken, it says in my translation that's more dumbified.
Okay.
No, I'm just joking.
Nah. Yeah.
I'm just kidding. But it says that if I'm not mistaken, that it's in Genesis.
Yeah.
No, it's in Genesis. It's when his sister
Sarah?
was it Sarah? Was it Sarah?
Whose sister?
Moses' sister.
That's not Genesis. Miriam. Miriam.
Sure, it was in Genesis.
Sir, Moses is born in Exodus.
Okay, Exodus. Okay.
Oh, man.
No.
No, man.
No, okay.
What?
No. It's because I was hearing it on audio last night. But anyways, so Miriam and his brother
Aaron.
come against him, and
Yeah.
they say, "Hey, do you think
that-
God is the only one that
in
talks to
Numbers.
you?"
And
And
then
God
God's like,
comes down and God's like,
talk
hey,
to him face to face.
exactly. He says he sees my shape. He sees my
Yeah.
form.
He's like, I talk to him like you talk to him.
Right. So,
Yeah.
you know,
That's
it's
because they
just-
were being racist.
yeah, it's
Over his
interesting,
wife.
man. It's just interesting.
But nah. Okay. Here's my thing. God had a plan, and he was working to break Jacob so that Jacob would trust in him. You imagine wrestling God and winning? Like, God's like, I'm gonna have to use my superpowers to get out of this one, man.
That's just
Like,
bing.
I don't know. Of course, because of that power, he's no match. But physically, you think Jesus got down and was like, man, should have chose a buffer body.
Okay.
Like,
No.
He just comes and loses to
Well,
Jacob.
no, because
Which I think, obviously, God's all knowing as a part of his plan. He knew what he was doing. I still find it funny.
I think he let him win, and I'm gonna tell you why.
Why?
Okay.
Well, he didn't, because in the end, he beat him.
Right. But no, but he
shrank
let
his
him
leg.
think that he was like, you know,
Yeah.
equal or whatever. And I don't think so because look, just picture this. When Jesus went in there and flipped all those tables,
Mm-hmm.
you telling me there wasn't nobody that like wanted to stand up and say, hey, wait a minute, you know,
Yeah.
some big dudes.
Yeah.
And Jesus was just like, man, I don't care,
Well, but
man.
he had the whip, too.
Right.
Remember that?
Right.
He could just
Like,
whip
get
them.
this out of here,
Nah.
man.
Okay, but remember,
So-
God starts telling Jacob, like, let me go. The sun's coming up. And
Right.
Jacob's like, I'm not letting you go. And then God's
Yes.
like, well,
Okay, you asked for
I
it.
guess. Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. Like,
Right.
And again, it's all God's plan and he knows. But
Yes.
from a human perspective, it's kind of weird. Like, okay, say Jacob did let him go. He just came to wrestle with him for fun.
Well, he
Like,
did let him
I
go.
I don't understand. Yeah.
No,
but-
no. But I think that that was more than anything just to, like signify the
Yeah.
change.
I think it was a very
in Jacob.
spiritual thing for
Yes,
Jacob. Yeah.
absolutely. And but yeah, I mean, I just go back to like the the New Testament and how people always think of Jesus being a weakling.
Mm-hmm.
Like, oh, it's all love, it's okay, don't. But you gotta remember, when he called the Pharisees a bunch of names,
Snakes, whitewashed tombs.
right? And he wasn't
Brood of
afraid. He was like,
vipers.
"Let's go, y'all want to fight? Let's go. I'll fight you right now."
Yeah.
When he went in there, flipped the tables.
Mm-hmm.
That takes so much courage,
Yeah.
because that was those people's livelihood at the time, and
Yeah.
they weren't just gonna let it go. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? So,
And of course, they probably just set it back up, but
well, maybe
he let a lot of animals loose.
right, and
There's
so,
probably bird poop everywhere, man.
but that shows how brave and how bold he was,
Yeah.
and how he wasn't afraid of them. He was fearless,
Yeah.
and it's
Well,
not like
confidence too.
right, because it wasn't like he was gonna
knew
call
he was
angels
God.
down. He wasn't gonna
Yeah,
call
like,
angels
it's not
down
like
and say, "Yeah."
he ever doubted whether he was God. Like
Right.
he knew the whole time.
He already knew, of course.
Yeah.
Duh.
No, that's
Do
what I'm
you
saying.
know who you are?
Well, that's the thing. We doubt, but he never did. It's-
You doubt who
interesting.
you are?
no.
Well, see, that's what I'm saying.
Why? Anytime I make a point, you just decide how can we ruin it.
No.
Yes. Okay.
That was a good point.
It's
dude.
your turn to make the final sound.
Um.
That's entertaining. Yes. Okay.
All right, you got it, dude.
No, what? No.
Well, what do you want me to
I
do?
would say, okay, here's your sound. Your sound is the guys farting at camp.
Oh no. Let's see.